What's up? I'm Keith Kelfis. Today, I've built 2 six-figure businesses, a landscaping business and a media business. And my life is, a lot of my dreams have come true, but it was not always this way. About a decade ago, I was flat broke with debt collectors calling me. I had no money. I was trapped in a 1-bedroom apartment, and actually, my mother had passed away from a drug overdose, and I was really depressed. And I was working a dead-end lawn care job for $9.50 an hour, and I had just met the love of my life, my wife, and I was freaked out. Debt collectors are calling. We had an eviction notice, and at this point we had about 6 days to vacate our apartment. So I was so scared that I had this buddy Dave. Dude, he was a hustler, man, and he was actually my roommate right before I met my wife. And he's like, well, if you need to make some extra money, Keith, you can come with me and do some landscaping jobs. This guy didn't even know how to do landscaping that well, but he did a good job and he knew how to hustle and get customers. So I do lawn care all day, and I go out on a Saturday with him, and we're doing this landscaping job, and I'm working my tail off because I've been doing landscaping since I was a kid, right? I just knew what to do. So it's the end of the day. It's like 6:30 p.m. when we're driving back. The rain is hitting the windshield. I'm freezing. I've got dirt under my fingernails. I'm all muddy. And my wife is texting me like, when are you going to be home for dinner? And I was like, I'm flat broke. He was paying me $15 an hour cash. And I was like, bro, how did you land this landscaping job? There were some just customers. And how much was this job? He's like, this job is like $1,400. We trimmed some bushes, pulled some weeds, put down some mulch, put some topsoil, graded it against the house. I was like, $1,400 would change my life right now, bro. And I was like, how did you even get this job? And he's like, I just posted ads on Craigslist. And back in the day, you could post ads on Craigslist just like now you could, or you can go on Facebook, social media, start a Google My Business or Google Maps, and you can start promoting your business. You can get excited and hand out business cards, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. But at that time, I thought that I needed like 20, 30, 40,000 to start my own landscaping business. And I was wrong. I'm in the back seat of his old F-150, and he looks in my eyes in the rearview mirror, and he says, you can do this, Falcus. That's what he called me, Falcus. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, starting your own business is easy. I'm like, I don't have any money. He's like, you don't need any money. You just have to have work ethic. And he's like, listen, go on Craigslist. You start an account and put best deals in town, landscaping, and your phone number, and list your services. And he goes, people will call. I was like, but I don't have any tools. I don't have any equipment. He's like, I'll loan you a wheelbarrow, a rake, a tarp, and a shovel. He charged me $15 rental fee. And I went home immediately. I was exhausted. I went on Craigslist. I created an account, and I put best deals in town. I'll do garden maintenance. I'll pull your weeds, trim the bushes, put down mulch. And I put my phone number, and I just posted it. And literally, I think that evening, I started getting requests. My wife's father, my father-in-law, had this old Toyota Tacoma. It was like a 2000 truck. And my wife's car was in the shop or something, so she borrowed it from him, and she was driving it for like a week. And I asked him, I was like, hey, can I use your truck to go do a landscaping job? He's like, sure. So I went to Dave's house. I gave him $15. I rented a rake, a tarp, a wheelbarrow, a broom, some basic stuff, and I didn't have any shrub trimmers. So I went from I was a landscape foreman at all these companies. I had been doing landscaping my whole life. But when you go from working with a company driving around $100,000 in equipment and leading crews of guys to now it's just you starting your own business, that's terrifying, because you go from being the man but with someone else's stuff to now you have nothing. And so I went to Home Depot, and I literally called Metro PCS. My phone was about to get shut off. I said, please don't shut off my phone. Give me like 1 more week. And I took a little bit of rent money, and I went to Home Depot. I got a big like orange extension cord and a pair of Black & Decker shrub trimmers. That was like $65 or something. And I showed up at this landscape job. I didn't have a backpack blower or nothing. I trimmed all the bushes, raked them out, cleaned it up with a broom, and went and got mulch in the back of that Toyota Tacoma. And I put down all the mulch. And I think my wife helped me, and I made $170 profit on that job. And I immediately took that money and I went to the pawn shop. Now, I didn't pay my rent, but I went to the pawn shop and I bought an old Echo backpack blower for like $100 or something. And now I had a backpack blower, and I had to be to work Monday doing lawn care. So now I became side job Keith. So I'm doing lawn care for $9.50 an hour, and I'm posting ads on Craigslist in between on my phone. And then I created another Craigslist account with my wife's phone. And then now I started getting these, I was side job Keith. So that little spark, it's called the entrepreneurial seizure. Michael Gerber talks about it in the book, The E-Myth. It's like, boom, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. No one's going to stop me. I don't care if I don't have any money. I don't care what it takes. Bro, she gave that truck back. Now I had no car or nothing. So I literally did it out of the back of the trunk of my wife's car. I got paper bags from Lowe's, and every day after work cutting grass, I would go out and I would take my wife's car. We were arguing and everything because she was stuck in our apartment because I was out doing side jobs until dark. And even customers would see me pull up in a car and they would turn me away. They were scared. They're like, oh, there was one customer who's like, and I was like, no, I really know what I'm doing. He's like, I don't know, get out of here. So I borrowed money from my wife and dumped out change, and now we had an eviction notice, and I went and got this piece of crap truck called the Blue Goose, but it was a dream come true. This truck had 250,000 miles and rust all over it, 1991 Dodge Dakota. And when I had that truck now, and I had my own wheelbarrow, my own tarp, my own rake, Black & Decker shrub trimmers, I had the backpack blower from the pawn shop, and the pawn shop was the new place to get used equipment. And now I started my business. I woke up, it was 6 weeks of side jobs. I woke up Saturday morning, and this feeling came through me and said, today's the day you quit your dead-end lawn care job and you go full-time into your landscape business. I'm like, I only have like 3 jobs lined up. Doesn't matter. You're going all in. And I couldn't afford not to go all in because I wasn't even making enough money in my stupid dead-end job. So I literally, I called. I was like, I quit. And the boss was like, you have to be here in 20 minutes. You can't quit. I'm like, no, I actually quit, and I want my check on Friday. I quit. I called up my customer that was booked for the next week. I said, hey, I have an opening. I can come do your landscaping right now. I'll be there in an hour. It was Saturday morning. They're like, okay. I went that day and I made $350 profit in one day. And I was taking phone calls. And then I literally just started posting ads on Craigslist. I created a Facebook. I created a Google My Business, Google Maps. I started learning books about SEO and business marketing. Everything from Seth Godin, Purple Cow. I can name off 50 books right now, but I went insane, like entrepreneurial seizure. And big stack of business cards everywhere I went. Everybody was a potential customer. Everyone was a potential customer. So it's now like a week later, and I'm driving and the sun shines in through the window of the Blue Goose, and there's a crack in the windshield, and I'm in this truck, putt, 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 putt. It's like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm on my way to a landscape job. And it hit me for the first time in my life. I had no boss to report to, no job to go to. I didn't have to punch in anywhere. And there was a crack in the windshield, and the light shined through the crack onto my chest, and it illuminated me, and I felt like the warmth of God. And it was just me in the truck, putt, 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 putt. And all of a sudden, tears began streaming down my face, and I started crying because I realized that I was free. I was free. And it wasn't just tears for me. It was tears because I had spent 12 years telling myself a story that I need 20, 30, 40, 50 grand to start a business. And it took me 6 weeks to replace the income from my dead-end job. But I also cried because all the other men I work with in all those companies, they were still stuck in those jobs. And yet here I was free. But it took my back being against the wall. It took debt collectors calling me, and it took me thinking of, wow, I could lose the love of my life. Like, what am I going to do? We're going to live in my wife's mom's basement? It's not, this cannot happen. Like, I had to like rip off the shell of my old self that was being a victim and just become victorious. And so it was very hard. It was definitely 90 to 100 hours a week for the first 2 to 3 years. Then I backed down about 90 hours a week. Then about 8, at the 5th to 7th year, it took 6 to 7 years to pay off all the debt, right? I wasn't in that bad of debt, but it's 30, 40 grand in debt when you have no money. Might as well be 300,000. But you could pay it off so fast. You could do, when you get to the point where you can walk into the dealer, brand new backpack blower, boom, we got the money. Brand new shrub trimmers, this, that. Go to the dealership and drive off in a brand new truck. Go get yourself a nice trailer. Now you got customers calling, you're getting nice shirts and hats and apparel. You learn how to hire employees. And then one day boom, you realize you're on like a $12,000 to $15,000 landscape job. And you have 2 to 3 employees working. Everything's going smooth. You got like 10 missed phone calls. And you open up your bank account, there's money, all the bills are paid, you're excited about the 4th of July's coming, you're going on a vacation, there's dinner tonight at the steakhouse, and then I've literally went behind a customer's garage and looked around so nobody could see me, grown man, and I start sobbing, crying, thanking God, going, how did this happen? It all comes down to a single decision. I'm so excited. It all comes down to a single decision. Place the bets on yourself. That's what I learned. At some point, you have to go all in and bet on yourself. I hope that inspired you. I'm Keith Kelfis, and I'll put links to other videos that I've created on this topic. I wish you the best of success, and maybe I'll meet you one day and I'll shake your hand and I get to hear your story. That was mine.